Today, we're going to take a journey, starting in one of America's most haunted battlefields, a place just soaked in tragedy and history, and we're going to end up at the absolute cutting edge of artificial intelligence. We are going hunting for ghosts, but we're doing it with algorithms. I mean, just listen to that. That's a real account from a makeshift hospital during the Battle of Gettysburg. It is just a chilling gut punch of a reminder that the ground there is saturated with unbelievable human suffering. The sheer intensity of it all, well, some say it left a mark on the landscape that has never, ever faded. For generations, right, people have tried to connect with that past. They've used seances, ghost tours, and just pure instinct. But now artificial intelligence is stepping into the ring. So what happens when you point a machine that thinks in cold, hard logic at something that is, by its very nature, a complete mystery?
So here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the haunted legacy of Gettysburg itself. Then, we'll get into this new ghost in the machine, the AI that's changing paranormal investigation. From there, we'll see how these same algorithms are being used to scan the skies for UAPs. Then, we'll wrestle with that core tension between data, doubt, and belief. And finally, we'll ask, what does this all mean for the future of mystery itself?
Okay, first things first. We have to understand the ground zero for this whole story. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's just this small town that was forever defined by 3 absolutely brutal days back in July of 1863. The scale of the carnage was, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around it. Over 50,000 casualties. When you have that much trauma packed into one small area, it's really no surprise that Gettysburg is considered one of the most haunted places in America. These stories aren't just folklore. They're literally woven into the fabric of the town. And these legends are so specific. You've got the Jenny Wade house, where people still report the smell of bread she was baking at the exact moment she was killed by a stray bullet. The Farnsworth House Inn is supposedly home to 16 distinct spirits, including Confederate soldiers who are still hanging around. Then there's Devil's Den, this rocky maze where visitors report hearing phantom cannon fire and their cameras just die for no reason. And the old orphanage. The stories of a cruel headmistress are followed by reports of children crying from the basement. See, these aren't just vague tales. This is a living mythology built on countless personal experiences. So, with that backdrop, let's look at how the hunt for proof is changing. For decades, investigators have used technology trying to capture evidence. But that tech is now getting a massive, massive upgrade. This is a really fundamental shift in the whole approach. You see, traditional ghost hunting is all about capturing a fleeting moment, a spike on a meter, a voice, and some static. But AI investigation, that's about analyzing huge data sets to find patterns the human eye or ear would totally miss. We're talking about a move from chasing feelings to crunching numbers. Let's look at how this actually works with something like electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs. Traditionally, an investigator would have to spend hundreds of hours just listening to static, hoping to catch a whisper. But now, an AI can sift through that same audio in minutes. It's been trained on thousands of hours of sound, so it can identify and just filter out the specific frequencies of wind or a distant highway or even the familiar pattern of a creaking floorboard, leaving the investigator with only the true anomalies. And this stuff is no longer stuck in specialized labs. Apps are popping up that use your phone's own built-in sensors, like the magnetometer, to measure these tiny environmental changes. The AI then takes that data and generates words, even images, that it thinks are relevant. The ghost hunting toolkit is literally in your pocket now. And this AI-driven hunt for anomalies, well, it's not just for haunted houses. At its core, it's about finding a signal in the noise. And that very same principle is now being scaled way, way up to scan our skies. And people are taking this really seriously. You got Harvard's Galileo project, which is basically building an AI dragnet to spot weird things in the sky. There are apps like Enigma Labs, where AI scores user-submitted videos. And get this, even NASA is officially on board, using artificial intelligence to analyze data for what they call unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Okay, but this brings up a huge question. With all this incredible new tech, are we actually getting closer to the truth? Or are we just building more sophisticated ways to fool ourselves? This brings us to a really key skeptical concept, pareidolia. Our brains are hardwired to find patterns, especially faces and voices, even where they don't exist.
It's why we see a man in the moon. Skeptics argue that a lot of paranormal experiences are just our minds imposing meaning on random noise. So the big question is, does AI escape this trap? Or does it just automate our own bias for finding patterns we want to see?
And this points to a totally different explanation. Cultural anthropologists like John Sabol suggest the hauntings of Gettysburg aren't supernatural at all, but sociocultural. They're stories we tell ourselves, reinforced by a booming ghost tourism industry. From this perspective, a ghost isn't some entity you can detect, it's a cultural story that gets told over and over.
And this, right here, is the heart of the whole debate. On one hand, an AI doesn't have emotions or beliefs or that psychological need to see a face in the clouds. It could be the ultimate objective observer. But, on the other hand, what if a phenomenon exists outside the known laws of physics that we program the AI with? Would it even be capable of recognizing it? Or would it just dismiss it as an error?
So, where is all this headed? I mean, regardless of what these algorithms are actually finding right now, the technology itself is moving forward at an absolutely incredible pace.
I mean, just imagine pointing your phone and seeing an augmented reality overlay of a reported anomaly right there in the room with you. Or what about AI models that can predict paranormal hotspots based on geological data? Some people are even speculating that quantum AI could one day probe theories about parallel dimensions. We are right on the verge of a completely new era of investigation.
Look, at the end of the day, AI is becoming this incredibly powerful new lens that we can point at our oldest mysteries. Whether it ends up proving the existence of ghosts and aliens or proves they're just products of our own minds, the answers, either way, will totally reshape our understanding of reality. The only real question left is, are we ready for what we might find?